Hey everyone, welcome to the Mindset Playground. And I'm your host, LouAnne Hunt. And I want you to know that you are always one decision away from a completely different life. Ladies, grab your favorite beverage because today I have such a fun show for you. We're going to have a little bit of seriousness, but most of it is going to be a ton of fun and we'll explain why. So, I want to bring my good friend, Paddy Briggs, to the stage. Paddy, welcome to the Mindset Playground. How you doing today?
Awesome. Thank you, Luann.
You
Yeah.
know, Patty and I, we kind of go back a little ways, and I'll give you a little bit of background, and then she can fill in some of the spots, or maybe she'll fill in a lot of spots. But anyway, we have written on a couple of books together, and she was one of the co-authors, I'll say, of the book on transformation and the book on gratitude.
Yeah. And the
Yes,
book on joy.
you wrote the book on joy. You wrote
Yeah.
in that one. Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes you a three-time number one author, best-selling author.
Yes.
Now, did you ever think, Patty, when all of this started, that you would be a three-time
No,
best-selling author?
no,
No?
no.
Well, I gotta ask you, can you tell us a little bit about maybe like when you grew up? Like, what were some of the highlights of your life growing up?
Okay. Well, I grew up in Burnaby, just a suburb outside of Vancouver. In BC. And my dad was self-employed. I was basically raised in the back of a small family business. It was clothing retail. One side was men's and boys, the other side was women's and girls. And so my grandmother and my aunt ran the women's side, and my dad ran the men's and boys side. So growing up for me, it was I had a great childhood, really. I certainly can't complain about anything. And it was very enlightening for me too, because I grew up in business. So from a very young age, I knew what it was like to have a bad day, and I also knew what it was like to have a good day. But I understood at a very young age that when it came to business, you had to make some money. So yeah, it was actually a very interesting childhood. I went down to, they used to call them the travelers, with my dad at the Hotel Vancouver, and do the buying with him. Well, I thought I was doing the buying with him, but things like that. It was just, yeah, it was great. It was a great childhood.
Oh, that's great. Well, what
Yeah.
does that mean? You used to be with the buyers, or what does that mean?
Oh, well, they were different companies that would come in, and they'd come to the Vancouver hotel, and they'd set up racks and racks and racks of clothing, and then all the retailers would have appointments and come in and buy from them. So, and they used to call them travelers. Now they call them suppliers. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So it sounds like a bit of a not really a charmed life, but a little bit because that's
I know.
why you have such great fashion sense. I've always loved that about you. So
That was my
anyway,
dad. My dad taught me that. And my grandma taught me, my grandmother was like my first role model, my first mentor. And she taught me so much as far as business was concerned. She was a self-employed woman, and in the late 30s and 40s. And she was so smart, and she would take me also down to the wholesalers down in what's Gastown now, and I would spend time with her doing buying. And also, and when she passed away, it was so interesting. Their shop was on Kingsway and Joyce Road in Vancouver, and I was amazed at the size of her funeral. She was so well loved, and yet
oh
she was a
wow.
lady. Yep.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's really great. And like I said, I'm sure that you have learned so much, as far as business goes and just life in general.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So let's get into, as you get older, now you've decided that you were going to get into consulting and coaching, and you're also a trainer. And now it's interesting because you're a trainer of dentistry. What does that mean?
Okay. Well, to kind of go back a little bit, Luann, it was not my intention to do this at all. I was married at 19 and had three daughters, and um, worked the odd job, but more stay-at-home mom. And then when I was 39, my ex-husband left for a 26-year-old. And so that was kind of the start of my reinvention. I just, well, I think when that happens, and I'm sure there's women out there listening that can really relate to this, when something like that happens, you're 39, this other woman is 26, it totally destroys your self-esteem and your confidence. So in discovering myself on my own with the three girls, and I had to support us, there was no support coming. And so I thought, okay, not only do I have to find a career, not a job, but I also have to do some work on myself because I
Right.
didn't have confidence, nor did I have the self-esteem that would tell me, you can do this. You can do this. You just get out there and do it. And that took quite a few months to get there.
So what did you do?
Well, one of the first things that happened, I did get a job, and it was a horrible job. I photocopied 8 hours a day for a pulp and paper consultant. And I knew it was certainly not my career by any means, but I needed to work. And then I got another side job working for one of the consultants. And so I basically worked 6 to 7 days a week for the first few months. And while I was working on myself, the first thing that happened was a friend of mine gave me some, and this is going to age me, 8-track tapes of Jack Canfield's, when he first started, and it was all about enhancing your self-esteem. So they were perfect for me, absolutely perfect. So, and I read every book I could find on building your confidence, on being a better you. And like Dennis Waitley, I read a number of his books, even Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And so every one of them had exercises in it, and which I thought, I need to do this because I need to do more than what I'm doing right now. So that was the start of my journey into, and I ended up in dentistry on the front desk. um, and then from there, had a mentor as an office manager. And she sat me down one day and said, what do you want to do? Do you want to be on the front desk for the rest of your life in a dental practice? And I said, no, I'd like to go into management. And she said, okay. She said, I see something in you that you don't see yourself, obviously. So I want you to take this weekend. And she gave me a whole list of questions that I had to answer for her. And she said, I want you to spend the weekend doing this, bring it back to me. And she said, and we'll talk. And so I did. It was questions like, what is your vision for yourself? And I thought, what? What is, what is my vision? I just need to make some money, you know. So she worked me through how to visualize, and then with Jack's tapes, and then all these other authors, it all kind of fell into place. So that's what I
It
started.
just kind of like it just started clicking, right?
Yes,
I know.
yes,
That's what happens when you get into the personal development work, right? You don't even
yes,
realize it, and all of a sudden, bam, like all of a sudden you get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. And she made me visualize what the office would look like, my role in the office as a manager, and what my management style would be. And I had to write all this down for her. And so then she worked with me on really developing the vision. And she said, now I want you to think this, I want you to say it. She said, stop with this negative self-talk that you're not good enough, that you can't do it. She said, that has to go. No negativity. And she said, every time you think something negative, you turn it around. And I am very smart. I am a good manager. And I said, but I'm not a good manager. I'm not managing yet. And she said, it doesn't matter. This is where you see yourself. So, and basically what it was the law of attraction that she taught me, but it wasn't called that then.
It was called
Yeah.
woo woo. It was called woo
Yes.
woo back then.
Yes. And I have to be honest, sometimes when I'm teaching in the dental profession and I talk like this, I will get the odd hand thing, Patty, this sounds a little fluffy to me. Hey, it's not, it's science.
So, in your training, your dentistry training, because I know that you have actually opened a few offices, right? Dental
Yeah.
offices, and
Yeah.
trained the people within the office. And
Yeah.
that's wonderful that they have you, because
Yeah.
that's so needed in this world. But anyway, and do you kind of do that now with your students when you're training them? Do you kind of go back to how
Yes.
you learned?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And are they
Yeah.
liking it overall? Are they getting it?
When they get it, yes. And a lot of them are kind of like me, that when I remember my manager's name at the time that taught me all this was Sheila. And when Sheila, first started to teach me, and I thought, I don't know, this does seem kind of weird. You know? But once you get it, it's like you said, LouAnne, once you get it, you realize that you have really you've come on to something. You have the answer. Not that I had the answer as far as I would be where I am today, but I had the answer on how to get there.
Right.
That was
And don't
key.
you find, yeah, and don't you find that when you do learn this, that you
Yes.
say, wow, why doesn't everybody know this?
Yes.
I find
Yeah.
myself saying that all the time. Why doesn't everybody
Yeah.
know this?
Yeah.
That's what I find.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole world of discovery.
Yes.
So they're
Yes.
lucky that they have you, Patty. So,
Well, I'm sure some of them don't agree with you, but
well, I think they
yeah,
are.
yeah,
So
thank you.
let's go to our when we worked together. How did you become an author?
Well, Jan Fraser, who was one of the assistants with Jack Canfield, I got to know her fairly well, and she sent out emails to a number of us, you included, and said that she was writing this series for inspired women, and she wanted 30 authors, and she was going to write, I think there was 5 books in total, and she wanted stories from us. So I thought, and I have always wanted to write a book on my story, on my journey, because I've always felt that, you know what, if I can do this, anybody can do it, you know. So I thought, well, I'm gonna just find out more about it. So I did, and yeah, I'm very, very grateful to Jan that I had that opportunity. And the other good thing was I met you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we used to have so much fun. We were always
Oh,
writing. It was like school. We were writing notes
yeah.
back and forth in the private
Yes.
chat. I
Yeah, we
know.
were the bad kids.
I have to. Yeah, I have to. Electronic napkins.
Yes.
I have to. I have to say that I always commented on your glasses, right? I was always
Oh,
commenting on your glasses and I always thought they were the coolest. So, but
thank you.
now I understand what the background because, you're this fashionista. So, but anyway, so what what do you think is going to happen now? Now that you finally get it, what did you do to kind of drill it into you now that you've become an author and you got it out there, you got your story out there? And what's next for you? How do you plan on working on the inside here and cementing that in?
Well, I I still work with some dental teams, and I still do a lot of courses and what have you. And I will probably always do that because, see, it was dentistry that took me from front desk to management to then a consultant asked me to come in and teach her students. I'd taken a career management course too. I'm kind of like a lifelong learner. I take all these courses. And so I went in and taught them resumes and interviewing skills and that kind of thing. And she said, "What do you want to do? And are you going to stay on the front desk at Dr. So-and-so's office?" And I said, "No, I'd like to get into management." "Oh," she said, and she was a consultant. And she said, "I may have an office for you." So that's how I got my first management job. And by the way, everything I visualized about the office, about the staff, about my management style, the only thing that wasn't in my visualization was you had to go up the stairs into the operatories. That was the only thing. The front desk was like the ops were right, the sterilization, everything it was amazing. And so then she also, about a year later, said, "You know what? I teach out at Langley, a dental reception program, and I want to give it up. Do you want it? I have the curriculum, and do you want to teach it? I'm going to recommend you." So that's how I got into teaching. And then the university out in Fraser Valley contacted me and said, "Hey, I hear you're doing this, and will you come and meet with us?" The program director, for health sciences. And so then I was teaching there. Then I moved over to the island and I taught at VIU, the Vancouver Island University. And it was through teaching, because I sent my students out on 2 weeks practicum, that I started getting calls from dentists, from office managers saying, "Hey, we really like your student. She knows a lot, and she suggested systems, and do you do any consulting?" So that's how that all took place, you know. So I will always be available for dentists and their teams. My heart is, and this is another transition, another reinventing. My heart is working with women who maybe have been in the same position that I was years ago, or maybe lost a spouse, or had some kind of a issue that happened in their life where they have lost their self-worth. They have lost who they really are. So I've developed a course called Be the Very Best You. And so I'm going to start marketing that, and that's really where my heart is working with women. And the other thing is, when I am totally determined that I am going to write my book,
Your own book.
my own book. Yes.
That's amazing. And is it
Yeah.
going to tell your story from
Yes.
beginning to now? Or what do
Yes.
you plan on doing with that book?
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to start way back when. I'm actually going to start with my grandmother because she was such an influence with me. And then I'm going to carry it through, just just telling my story and encouraging, especially women. Um, and I'm not saying I won't work with men, but I would, but my heart, my passion is with other women. just encouraging them to step out. You can do this. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's just a matter of, I think the greatest thing I've learned is that we have to work on ourselves. It starts with us. So that's going to be my story. And you know what? I'm writing it because yes, for other women, but I have three grandsons and I'm going to be a great grandmother in March. So
Wow.
and I'm kind of for a granddaughter, but for my great grandchildren to and my own kids, just to let them know this is where I came from. This is what I achieved. And you can do this. I just want them to know who they are and where they came from, basically.
That's wonderful. And I know you just love having a ton of fun.
Oh, I
And I
do.
know that because we have had so much fun together. I have not only written on books with you, but I actually had the opportunity to travel with you. And
Yes.
oh my goodness, ladies, when she gets those courses together, I got to tell you, it is going to be quite the ride with
Yeah.
Patty. When she says be the best you, she means it. We
Yeah.
had a lot of fun on our
Oh,
trip. And we always have fun when we get together and start talking.
yes.
So I
Yes.
know. I
Well,
really appreciate that.
can I tell a story on you?
Oh, please. Why not?
Oh, so we did a cruise together and it was Greece. We cruised all around Greece. And you know what? I don't even remember where we were, Luann. I'm hoping that you will. Um,
Is this about what I think it is?
yes, it is. Yes.
We
Yeah.
were in Turkey.
Yes. Yes. And so we had left, I believe it was Istanbul, wasn't it? That we had left and we were driving. Um, Were we driving back to the ship? Anyhow, I don't remember. What I do remember was the actual story. I mean, it was hilarious. So LouAnne and I are sitting on the big, beautiful bus together, and the tour guide says, okay, and there were these gorgeous pillars that they had built. And so the tour guide said, name the name of the pyramids and what have you. And then he said, now you see the big nest on the top, and those are the storks, and they fly here to. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody, but this has to be the funniest thing. So they fly here at certain
From
times.
Egypt. Yeah. From
Egypt,
Egypt.
yeah,
Yep.
to lay their eggs and to have their babies. And Luann turns to me and she said, "Oh, come on, storks? There's no such thing as storks." I said, "Luann, of course there's storks. No, storks are what we told our kids that they came in, and their siblings came in. There's no such thing as storks." Well, it just struck me so funny. And I said, actually, these storks are real. Oh my gosh.
I know. I hate to admit it, folks, but this is a
Yep,
true story. And
it is.
I
Yeah,
honestly, like, I don't know. I don't know. I thought they were just like fables. Like, I really
yeah,
did.
yeah.
They're the
Like a
birds
fairy
that,
tha
yeah,
Yes.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was so shocked. I thought they were pelicans. I said, look at those pelicans. You're like,
Yeah,
no, they're storks.
yeah.
So that was when I discovered, true story, that's when I discovered that there truly was storks.
Yes,
Or that,
yes,
yeah, I had no idea. But anyway, that's okay. You
yeah,
know what? It's little things like that that
yeah,
we'll always remember. And I think the other thing that was just so funny was, if I can tell a story now, it's my turn.
yes, yes.
We had planned on getting our pictures taken while we're on the cruise ship. And so the girl, we booked the appointment and everything. And the girl says, okay, well, we're going to start off outside.
Yeah.
And we went outside. It was so windy. And we had no idea that that it could be that windy. But you lost an earring and oh, it was
Yes.
just, it was,
It literally blew off and I had a backing on it, but that's how windy it was. I don't think anybody really would understand how windy it actually was.
I
So,
should, you know what? I have video of the wind because I
yeah.
did take video when we landed in, where was one of the last places? At
Ah,
Mykonos.
yes. Yes.
It was so windy on the ship that
Yeah.
you guys had gone into town, and it was so windy on the ship that I went out to take video of it. So you know what? I will put a little blurb.
Yes.
I
And
will.
yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
insert a little bit
Include
of
it.
how
Yeah.
windy it was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it broke the camera stand and my camera started flipping around
Yes.
because it was so windy. I had to hold on to the railing because I thought it was going to blow to the other side of the ship. Oh, it
Yeah.
was
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah.
But yeah, what a great time. And I'm so lucky to have met you and work with you.
Oh,
And I've absolutely loved it. So
yeah. I feel the total same. We had so many laughs. You can only imagine with the two of us together. Yeah, we had so many laughs.
yes, we did. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. And you know what it is, Patty? I think it's because you get me.
Yes.
You get it. And I would say that's probably your bonus, or that's one of the things that is going to make you such a great coach, because I
Thank you.
know that you're going to inject that laughter, and
Yes.
I know it. And you've
Yeah.
done some great coaching with me when we went on that trip, and
Yeah.
it's been an honor. An
Well,
honor.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely my honor. I loved our trip and I've loved our relationship. So, yeah.
Me too. And I
Yes.
know anybody who's listening will can appreciate when true friends get together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Patty, I hate to end this, but I
No.
always ask my guests for 3 golden nuggets to leave
Okay.
the audience with. So, it's your turn. You're up.
Okay. Um, I think I'm going to reflect back on my journey and my journey of building my self-confidence and building my attitude even as far as achieving. Because honestly, if anyone had ever said to me, in 2025 you are going to be doing this and this, I would have laughed, so, but it's that journey. So if I could leave 3 nuggets for anyone, the first one, and I really believe this strongly, is create a vision. Create that vision of what it is that you really want, where you want to be. And it doesn't have to be like a consultant or a trainer, or it can be anything, but create that vision and continue to see yourself there. The second nugget would be very careful of who you hang with. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that think like you, and that are not negative, that are positive. And I think maybe the third nugget would be watch your self-talk. That was something that it took me a long time to really get over. And visualization and affirmations really helped me with that. But your self-talk, the average self-talk, I read a stat quite some time ago that 75% of everything we think and hear is negative, counterproductive, and works against us. And I thought, That is so true. And right now, I think we really do live in a very negative society. We need to flip that around. We need to turn that around. And one of the best ways to do that is to stop talking to yourself negatively. What I had to do was I had to create a stop sign literally up here. And as soon as I went into the negativity, which was my usual pattern, I would see this stop sign in it, stop it, Patty. And then I would flip it around. If I thought, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I can't do that. Stop it. I am very smart. I think quickly. I'm a very positive person. I love life and I love my career. And I just started talking to myself in those ways. So I think those are the three nuggets that I would leave. There's so much more, LouAnne, as you know, and having looked at the new course that you're creating, I mean, it is just so dead on. I really encourage anybody to take your course because it's I don't want to say condensed because it's not, but it just gives you the steps. Do this, and this, and you will become your very best you. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Patty. And I know that you'll be right there
Welcome.
working with me on that
Oh,
course.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to
Anytime.
have many group chat calls on Zoom.
Good.
And I know that you'll be there and you'll be helping
Awesome.
me, giving some, we'll do the color thing that you do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. The personality profiling. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And that's one of the courses. Like I do a lot of courses. I love my team building course, my leadership course, which by the way I'm doing in Victoria, October 3rd and 4th with Envision Group, and personality assessments. It's personality profiling, customer service. Yeah, so it all goes together. But honestly, once you know even who you are as far as personality, it makes your life so much easier and you understand yourself so much better.
Wow. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Patty. This has been
Thank you.
so much fun.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
we'll
And
definitely
uh,
do this again. What were you going to say?
perfect. No, I just was going to say, I really encourage and challenge people listening and watching to, become the best version of yourself. Do what it takes and start with your course.
Or your course.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you, LouAnne. You have an awesome day.
Yes, you too.
Thanks.
Don't forget to visit my website at louannehunt.ca, where you're going to find information about all of the past and upcoming Mindset Playground shows, along with signing up for a monthly newsletter where I can send you information from the playground and learn all about the programs that I have available to make you a better person. I can't wait to see you there.